Good morning, it's VJ Franz K, and the summer unboxings continue. This is the ATARI 400 Mini, which is part of a recent trend of retro consoles being recreated in miniature format. I forget exactly what the size of this is, whether it is half size or whatever, but much smaller than the original ATARI 400. This series is, of course, dear to my heart because the ATARI 800 was the first computer I was able to use regularly. And so there isn't a miniature ATARI 800 available yet, but this is very close to it. A friend of ours had an ATARI 400, so I did actually use one, as well as the ATARI 800 that we had. Wow, it brings a smile to my face instantly to see this micro-sized system right in front of my eyes. And then here, the classic joystick. Are you saying I'm just playing games with my time when I should be recording music? Well, you see, I can rationalize it in this case because the ATARI computers were also perhaps the first systems on which I was writing music. So I could get back to that chiptune sound by using the ATARI. There were some music composition programs, or you could just write your music in BASIC, or Logo, or Pilot, or some other programming languages. Wow, it is just great. Instantly, the classic joystick brings back memories. Now this looks very, very much like the classic ATARI joystick, and then also something to note is that a vintage ATARI joystick has the button controlled by the left hand, and the joystick is controlled by the right hand. So it is different than today's standard gamepad arrangement. And then, of course, the significant factor here is that it's USB connected on the edge instead of the classic connectors that were featured on ATARI joysticks, some other things, and then later Genesis joysticks, to the point where ATARI and Genesis joysticks could interoperate. And that was really fascinating. But in this case, I will enjoy using this with the little ATARI, as well as I'll try this USB joystick on PC and Mac as well, just for some mobile gaming. So here is a quick start guide with a nice rainbow fading ATARI logo there, or the word logo. It really is a super classic logo. What is in here, I wonder? Probably power adapters and such. There were always... ATARI was a relatively trouble-free experience to set up. Because of their success with the ATARI 2600, which used these very same style of joysticks, the CX series joysticks, yeah, doesn't feel exactly the same. Then again, how long has it been since I have used a brand new CX joystick? So here is, let's see, it is USB-C to USB connection here, and then they have included an HDMI, and it is beige, which brings a smile to my face because, of course, this system, as well as early Macintosh and so many others, beige was the color. Wow. It's fascinating to look at this thing. How small it is, and yet an accurate representation of the classic machine. Wow. And I am not sure if the buttons, I'm pretty sure the membrane keyboard does not work. And I don't know if this, see, you would press this and the cartridge door would pop open. It would be spring-loaded, and you could insert one or more cartridges here. And then on the 800 it was more expandable. You could add more memory. Now obviously here there is a USB-C power button, HDMI, and such. And then on the front, instead of those classic Atari jacks, there are these USB. So, but this is going to be fun for playing games. I mean, doing music. Of course I'm doing music with it, right? But I seriously will do both of those things, as well as some graphical adventures there. But it really is just a very nice collector's item, and immediately just looking at it, being around it, could take you back to an earlier era. And if you look upon that era with fondness, like I do, that could be worth it right away. So here I'm setting the controller down there. Plug in. We'll connect it later. Try the games out and see. Ultimately, I could upload programs that I wrote many years ago to this system and run them. That would be amazing. Of course, you'll need special converters for the system to be able to do that, but it's worth it to me to do that, just because to transfer some of the first programs I wrote, including some of the first music that I ever wrote, was on this system, or the 800 version of the system, which was very similar. So we'll see where it takes us from this point. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or amazing memories from the Atari era, or Commodore 64, Apple II, other early computers of that time, we will never forget that era. It was something very special, and it was before the AI era, certainly, and it was before the internet and all of these things, even though, well, was it really before the internet? I mean, the early internet already existed, but most people were not on it. The most they would do would be to log into a BBS or something, a bulletin board service, using a dial-up modem. And let's see, it looks like this mixer is about to run out of power. Once again, the beige cable there. This is going to be so much fun. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. This is VJ Franz K, living the high-tech lifestyle, or in this case, the slightly lower-tech lifestyle of retro video gaming.